What the hell is Karen doing? What? You right there, love?
Do you know what you're doing here with your engine idling?
No, what?
You are polluting the atmosphere.
Really?
You're just sitting here without a care of the world, with your engine running,
Okay.
and you don't care who you're polluting here.
Okay, really?
There are lots of kids live around here, you know.
What is that so? Well,
Yeah.
well, he lives here. I don't see any kids here.
Well, they're not here at the moment, but they're living in these flats. You know, the
Okay.
fumes from this car are going in through all the windows and all the ventilation.
The fumes from this car, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, you do know that this car's electric, right?
Ha ha ha. Yeah. You try and fob me off like that.
No,
it's
I'm
an
not fobbing
electric
anyone off.
car, la-di-da-di-da, just to cover up your crimes. Because I will be
crimes?
reporting this, you know.
What?
I've got your number
Report me to
plate.
who?
To the authorities.
What? And say what? Hey, excuse me, someone's in their car.
Yeah, and I'm going to take a picture of you and all. Yeah, so that's you.
For what
You're
reason?
sitting in the car with the engine running. You're polluting the atmosphere. That is a crime now.
How is it a crime?
Because you are sending untold
Untold?
nasty emissions of poison all over this area.
What, really?
It shouldn't be allowed.
Am I really?
Yes,
I think
you are
I
really,
think
really. As you live and breathe, as you're talking to me now, you are sitting there with your engine running,
and you're sat there with a hat.
Atmosphere.
And you're sitting there, and you're standing over there with a hat on. I'm not complaining about that, am I?
Well, that might be a crime against fashion, but it's certainly not a crime as in the police are going to get me, are they?
Okay, so what? You're going to call the police because I'm just sat in my car?
You're sat in your car with your engine running. If you were sat in the car with your engine off, like, I wouldn't say anything about it.
But love, it's an electric car, though.
I would just go off on my way and, you know, enjoy my afternoon rather than engaging in a pointless conversation with you.
No.
Although I hope it's not pointless because I'm hoping that you're going to turn that bloody engine off.
Love, it's an electric car.
Yeah, no, you've got a child in the back there.
Love, it's an electric car.
Do you know what you're doing to that child? You got the window open, talking to me, as you would, of course.
But I'm saying it's an electric car, though.
It's not an electric car.
It's an electric car. Love, there's no emissions coming out of it.
What are you pointing at that for? What's that?
No, nothing.
What is that? What? Oh, so that tells me it's an electric car.
You're touching my car now. What? You've got the right.
All right.
You've got the right to invade into my finger.
I'm not going to touch your car again.
Thank
but
you.
I'm just telling you. You can't just point to that insignia, which I've never seen before, and tell me that that's an electric car.
But it's an electric car. There's no emissions.
That suits you, doesn't it? Okay, so it's a very quiet engine. It is really quiet. I'll give you that. It's quiet, but it's silent but deadly. You know.
So
it is silent but deadly. Those poisons,
there
gases,
is no engine.
they can't be seen.
There's no engine.
Look, just listen to me, all right?
I'm listening.
You listen to me.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Can we have a decent, peaceable conversation, please?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to explain to you.
Yeah.
Right, you see, there are things that you can't see, right?
Yeah.
Gas is one of them.
Yeah.
Poisonous gas
Yeah.
is something that you can't see,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
You can't see it.
Yeah.
And it's poisoning. You see, these people here,
Yeah.
they agree with me, you see.
What? Oh,
They
they
agree
really?
with me. They do, yeah.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that this is there's no emissions.
That was Climate Karen. Proof that I was wrong and Tesla definitely needs to advertise because consumers don't understand anything about Tesla vehicles. They don't even know what a Tesla logo looks like. Except that was obviously a skit, and I hate to have to point this out. It's kind of embarrassing that anyone thought that was a real interaction, but the red flags, it's very clear. Let's think about this for a moment. Would a real Karen have enough self-awareness and be willing to use self-deprecating humor to describe their hat as a crime against fashion? Obviously not. Would somebody think a car's engine is running if they can't hear it? Probably not. Would such a perfect interaction just happen to be caught on film with such brilliant comedic timing? The interaction almost seeming too good to be true. Why emphasize the Tesla logo as if to say I've never seen that before? What is that insignia? The real point of this video is in fact that Teslas are so good that they advertise themselves. There's so many content creators out there using Teslas in their content that they're advertising themselves. In fact, Climate Karen herself, the original poster of this video on Facebook, has received 6.6 million views. One of the reposts on Twitter, almost 10 million views and counting. This viral interaction, this skit, in total now, tens of millions of views. Practically everyone who sees this, haha, that's very funny. She's a crazy climate Karen. Obviously, Teslas don't have emissions. How many Tesla vehicles do you think this skit sold after tens of millions of people have seen it? My best guess is probably more than one. And how much did Tesla need to spend on advertising? Nothing. I just wanted to once again point out that Tesla doesn't really need to advertise. They could, and they will at some point. But so far, they've gotten to this point. Enough people globally now understand Teslas are zero-emission vehicles that a skit like this can go viral for the very reason that people understand that they don't emit. And then you have a climate Karen acting as if she actually thinks that there's emissions from a Tesla. And that's why people are laughing. As I've said in the past, the more Teslas Tesla sells, the more Teslas Tesla sells. It's called word of mouth. I often see people on Twitter describing an interaction in which they had with somebody who didn't really know the facts about a Tesla. And then they finish this tweet going, I interacted with this person. They had the wrong idea about Tesla. I set them straight. I told them the truth. And now they're buying a Tesla. See, Tesla needs to advertise. I mean, do I actually even need to point out that, hello? You're doing the thing that everyone else is doing, which is why Tesla doesn't need to advertise? You're literally describing an interaction in which you did the job of advertising for Tesla for free, like hundreds of thousands, millions of other people are doing globally right now, which is how Tesla's got to the point they're at today. Do you not understand the irony of your comments that Tesla needs to advertise after describing an interaction which clearly demonstrates that people like you exist? I mean, seriously, it cracks me up every time. Let me be clear. Every time somebody buys a Tesla vehicle, their friends, family, colleagues, neighbors become aware that they own a Tesla. Some of them will say things that are absurd. Why'd you buy that? It only goes 3 seconds before you need to recharge and they always catch on fire and blow up. Next minute, the record is set straight. Hey, you want a test drive? Let me show you. They're actually pretty cool. These interactions happen everywhere. People just don't seem to get this. More Teslas on roads. When I say the more Teslas Tesla sells, the more Teslas Tesla sells, I mean it. Many Tesla customers become evangelists for the company and for their products. But Stephen, this time is different. Suddenly now's the point in time where that's no longer true. I beg to differ. Now, this is just a thesis, but my thesis is Tesla sells more vehicles. More consumers own a Tesla vehicle and now start telling other consumers about the truth, their experience, and correcting misinformation and misconceptions. It really, truly, and I mean truly does my head in when people explain, but Stephen, you don't understand. Tesla can't keep selling more vehicles now. They need to advertise now. And the reasoning is because most consumers today don't know the truth. They don't know a Tesla can be purchased for approximately the same price as a new vehicle in the United States. They're much cheaper than most people think. This is true. They're safer than people realize. This is true. Much cheaper to own and operate than most people realize. This is true. The good thing is, most people today, if they were trying to buy a Tesla, wouldn't be able to because the global automotive market per year is about 80 million vehicles and Tesla's not even producing 2 million a year. You understand? As Tesla scales production and more customers take delivery of Tesla vehicles, more and more people become aware of the truth of the matter through word of mouth as opposed to advertising. Again, I want to be really clear for the potatoes out there. Most consumers today don't know how cheap Teslas are, don't know the benefits, don't know the perks, don't understand. There's a lot of FUD and misinformation. But like I said, if all of these consumers today knew the facts, Tesla wait times on new vehicle purchases would be about 4.20 years. If Tesla's products weren't so compelling, they weren't so great, they didn't create evangelists, it'd be a different story. So far, I haven't seen any evidence to suggest that we're at a point now where it is necessary for Tesla to advertise to consumers. And again, most consumers don't know the facts, but that's not the point because most consumers, if they knew the facts, couldn't buy a Tesla because they're not making that many of them. I think the chorus of people screaming from the rooftops that Tesla needs to advertise now are just people with short-term interests. They want the stock up. They want EPS up. But the truth is, I think Tesla could make it through the entire decade without the need for advertising. And just to be clear to the people suffering from brain damage, I did not just make a prediction that Tesla won't advertise this decade. I'm pretty certain they'll advertise within the next couple of years at most. I'm just saying they could get through the whole decade, sell through all their production, make their products more compelling, drive the prices down, and wouldn't need to advertise. And I've not yet heard a single convincing argument, any convincing argument, other than Tesla, if they advertised, might be able to sell the vehicles for a little bit more money today than they would otherwise and make slightly more money on their vehicles. I believe that's true, but in the scheme of things, I really don't think it moves the needle. I'd much rather Tesla invest their mental energy and time solving FSD, driving the cost of their products down, making them even more compelling, than spending any time at all discussing the new advertising campaign, the new advertising strategy, the music and the new commercial on television and so on. Plus, I want to keep buying Tesla stock, so the cheaper it is, the better. So just between you and I, it's not in my best interest for Tesla to begin advertising either. When I'm finished buying, I'll definitely flip on a dime and suddenly start saying, yes, Tesla should advertise. Of course, the single most potato argument of all in terms of Tesla needs to advertise is if they advertise, they'd sell more vehicles. If you have a functioning brain, you'll probably understand that that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they're still massively ramping up to factories, increasing production as fast as they can. And if that's true, if they're increasing production as fast as they can already, they're already selling the maximum number of vehicles they possibly can. So the only real argument in terms of Tesla advertising will be temporarily selling the vehicles for higher prices, but that's never going to get them to the mass market. Getting to the mass market means selling the vehicles for lower prices. And how do you do that? You drive the actual cost to produce them down and pass those savings on to consumers. There are some people who argue, but you don't understand. Advertising creates long-term brand value. Maybe this is true, whatever that even means. But you know what's better than creating long-term brand value? Making your vehicles more affordable and more compelling. Controversial, I know. And you know what's almost as good as making your products more affordable and more compelling? forcing buyers of more expensive, less compelling products to pull up at your superchargers and see your products in front of their very eyes day after day. Of course, that would never happen, but in a hypothetical universe in which that were true, that certainly wouldn't hurt either. Not a spent cent on advertising, yet you get your products, your brand in front of everybody's faces. Shame nothing like that's happening right now, isn't it?
I think this is really more coming from Ford and GM. At this point, when they look at the number of variables that they have to solve to move through this technology transition, providing charging and enabling charging for their customers is one of the key ones it's actually quite expensive. Tesla's invested an awful lot of money, billions of dollars, in building out this network, and for them, they're just providing service and renting out that asset. And so for them, it's it has been part of a customer service offering that they recently started charging new customers for. Initially it was a free service for customers, and now they're starting to charge some of their competitors for it. And so it's a profit pool for the company on some sunk cost. So for Tesla, I think it's just monetizing an asset that they have, and for these other OEMs, it's a realization that they can simplify their lives and really focus on some of the challenges that they have ahead in terms of moving through the transition towards building EVs, which is actually much more difficult than I think most of these OEMs ever really anticipated.
A couple of things that Colin said there really stood out. Tesla monetizing an existing asset. I wonder if this will ever happen again in the future, or will continue to happen repeatedly in the future. For example, monetizing their existing fleet of Tesla vehicles, call it 3.5, approaching 4 million today, with future over-the-air upgrades, updates, software subscriptions, and so on. What about the in-car OS Tesla has developed? How about putting the brain of the full self-driving car into a humanoid robot? What about offering Dojo as a service in the future? If you haven't quite figured it out yet, Teslas are masters at monetizing existing assets. In fact, Elon Musk is a master at monetizing assets. The only reason that the Starlink internet service, which by the way, is rapidly stealing market share from junk-ass internet providers, the only reason Starlink is commercially viable is because SpaceX has developed reusable rockets. They have dramatically lower launch costs than any other potentially competing internet service. They also have rideshare on rockets. When Tesla turns on autonomy in their vehicles, their existing asset base, millions of vehicles on the roads, can suddenly start printing insane amounts of money passively for not only Tesla, but Tesla owners. Tesla obviously taking a cut every autonomous robotaxi fare in the future. Funnily enough, once Tesla has solved autonomy and robotaxis are allowed to start operating in some jurisdictions, this may be the perfect opportunity for Tesla to advertise like crazy. Hey guys, did you know that your Tesla can now make you money while you sleep? No, really. We've solved autonomy. We're allowed to operate robotaxis. Your Tesla can now literally go out and pick people up and drop them off while you're asleep or at work or anytime you like. Unlike Tesla's vehicles, which are limited, Tesla's already producing as many as they can, as fast as they can, and still selling them for industry-leading margins. This is a software service. There'll be many Tesla owners, once autonomy is solved, who won't even know their vehicles are now allowed legally to start driving people from point A to point B. So unlike Tesla's hardware, which is still production constrained, you can't make more than the maximum amount you're able to make as fast as you can. Getting Tesla owners onto the robotaxi network is in everyone's best interest. The revenue floodgates, the profit floodgates will really open. Tesla get an insane ROI on advertising this once it's a feature. Another thing Colin said that really stood out was just the obvious fact that many automotive manufacturers have discovered how difficult it is. Much more difficult than they could possibly have expected to do certain things Tesla's already done years ago, significantly better. He's right on both points.
Colin, how much more revenue do you think Tesla is going to generate as a result of these partnerships here with GM and Ford? And to that point, now they have partnerships with their superchargers. There has been some talk from Musk just about licensing their self-driving technology. Is that a move that you think makes sense?
So as I've said, Tesla's going to make approximately fuck all in terms of extra additional profits, which is the big thing, from opening up their supercharging network. It doesn't move the needle at all. However, they're not going to be doing this at a loss. It's just in the scheme of things relative to automotive sales and far more importantly, the software component, especially FSD. It's barely worth mentioning. In fact, there was a period of time there where I explicitly said in my Tesla valuation model, Tesla's going to open their supercharging network, but I'm not even modeling it because it doesn't make a fucking difference. But I thought, in the interest of full transparency, I would begin including that just to show people how little it actually matters. I've seen a lot of numbers being thrown around at the moment for potential revenue and profits for Tesla opening this charging network. I'm like, how high are you guys? Of course, I could be wrong. Maybe it's not these estimates that are extremely high, but me. Or maybe both things are true. But I really think people are massively overemphasizing the importance to this in terms of Tesla's financials. It's good for the mission. It's good for automotive companies that aren't Tesla. It's good for consumers. But regarding the comment just asked of Colin, the real money printer is licensing software, FSD in particular. And this again is something that is available in my Tesla valuation model. You want to check it out? Click the link in the pinned comment and join Patreon at the investor level and above. You can see all of the assumptions. Or spend a little bit of time in a spreadsheet yourself. It ain't that hard. Figure out how much a month Tesla would charge, not what the company's charging their customers, but what Tesla gets out of that. Multiply it by the number of cars using Tesla's FSD software. How much per month per car times how many cars equals how much money Tesla's printing out of thin air. It gets obscene. The way to think about this is what percent of the global vehicle fleet in the future will be licensing Tesla's FSD software. These are some seriously big fucking numbers. And I mean big, as in dwarfing anything you could possibly imagine in the realm of hardware sales. And it's literally a matter of Tesla having a couple of engineers spend a little bit of time tweaking the software to adjust for camera positioning on different vehicles, just like they do with their own products. Remember, they got the S3, X, and Y. Cameras are all positioned in different places. They already have to do this. And then basically, bang, turn the software on. Almost pure profit, straight to the bottom line. And as the capabilities of FSD get better, more people will adopt the software. This is a recurring revenue stream. I personally think very few customers will be purchasing the package outright. Instead, most will be subscribing for a monthly fee. And once you go FSD, you don't go back. The reason I continue to underscore this point today is because most investors are completely ignoring this opportunity. They either don't think it's going to happen, or they don't know what the numbers will be, therefore they're not even going to try to figure them out.
You know, what we've seen the company do in the past is really offer up some of the non-cutting edge technology for competition, whether it's battery technology or otherwise. And so I think it helps some of those competitors move through some of the early stages of commercialization, but it really doesn't change Tesla's technology lead to a real material extent. From a revenue standpoint, we don't have much detail on what's going to really these deals will amount to. At the end of the day, the real driver for Tesla right now is selling cars and then upselling services and features on those vehicles over time. And that's the real thrust here for us, is that it's going to enable more adoption of EVs, and Tesla's in a great position from a product perspective and a cost perspective to really take share in the market. And as we see some of the supply chain simplify, it makes things easier for them as the largest buyer of a lot of these components to continue driving costs down and continue to maintain their advantage versus peers.
What does this ultimately mean for Tesla's competitors in the EV space, whether that is somebody like a Rivian or somebody like Volkswagen that is not using NICS right now? Are they going to be forced to change as well?
Let's be honest here. From a consumer's point of view, it's a no-brainer. Every company producing electric vehicles should have adopted Tesla's charging standard already, be building vehicles with Tesla plugs on them already, and in addition, be negotiating access to Tesla's supercharging network. It is in the best interest of consumers to have one standard, the best standard, widely adopted. No need for adapters. However, many companies will have different reasons as to why they don't want to do this. Rivian may or may not have to answer to Big Daddy Jeff Bezos, given Amazon's investment in the company, the deal for the transit vehicles. So it's possible there'll be some companies who hold out for a long time, perhaps even indefinitely, not because they want their consumers, to have the best possible experience, but for slightly more self-interested and or nefarious reasons. Rivian and Lucid should be banging on Tesla's door right now. Given the fact that they're producing vehicles at such low volumes, it would be quick for them to make the changes and start putting Tesla chargers on their vehicles. How do you think it's going to look? I can understand why a company like, for example, Lucid wouldn't want to adopt the Tesla charging standard. After all, Lucid have strategically positioned themselves as superior to Tesla on everything, which also includes a much larger price tag. Now, don't get me wrong, Lucid do some great engineering because they've got the budget. People are paying 2-3 times as much for a Lucid versus a Tesla vehicle, obviously. They can afford to do things that Tesla can't. So it may be difficult for Lucid to consider adopting this, because how do you position yourself as superior than Tesla? Our vehicle will add many more inches to your micro penis than a Tesla will if they then begin adopting Tesla's plugs, gain access to the supercharging network. Rivian, probably not so much of an issue except for the whole Amazon investment. At some point, it is inevitable that these companies will need to adopt Tesla chargers. Whether or not they're smart enough to do it and how soon, if they are smart enough, is an entirely different matter. But it's pretty clear. Any company with any sense who cares most about their customers having a good experience doesn't have any alternative motivations. They just want their customers to have the best experience, will be adopting Tesla's charging standard. And any administration funding the build out of a charging network nationally who has any sense and isn't entirely corrupt is going to make Tesla's charging the industry standard and fund the build out of their charging network as a priority.
It's a little unclear, that the electrical industry has not provided a standard yet for the industry. Is a little curious. That sort of thing typically happens early on in a new market. And, it's taken, the standard setters longer than we would have anticipated to come to a conclusion on that. For some of these other folks, it's an adapter that they need to put on their customers are going to have to use. So it's a nominal cost. It's not a big deal, but it is a level of convenience per Pasquale's comments earlier that consumers would like to make this easier, and they certainly folks are trying to work in that direction. But I don't think it's a real meaningful change for any of the competition as we move towards standards.
So Colin rightly understands in the scheme of things, this isn't a massive needle mover. It certainly helps Tesla's so-called competition. They can now say, we've got a great charging network that Tesla built, but you can access. Just don't pull up one and then decide to buy a Tesla, and don't talk to one of their owners and ask about their Tesla and if it's better than what you're driving, because it is, and they'll tell you. But financially for Tesla, doesn't move the needle. A lot of people are massively overreacting to this. This news is certainly getting a lot of discussion. Some might even suggest it's free advertising. Ooh, I said that out loud, didn't I? But it's almost a non-event. The big event is going to be when the first company announces they'll be licensing Tesla software. Of course, given the typical counter-to-reality reactions of Tesla stock, upon that announcement, the stock's probably going to go absolutely nowhere instead of surging higher. Time will tell. So, take it from somebody who definitely didn't work in the advertising industry for more than half a decade and hasn't run ads for many of his various businesses in the past where it made sense, and has avoided running ads for businesses in which it didn't make sense. Tesla clearly needs to advertise because, as we can see, they're not already selling every vehicle they make with industry-leading profit margins, building out their network of vehicles that in the future will be able to drive people autonomously from point A to point B and make many hundreds of billions of dollars in pure profit. Therefore, dear Tesla, you definitely need to advertise. So don't believe anything I say, because I would never advertise anything. I don't understand advertising. Advertising is always the right thing to do, especially when you're still production constrained on your vehicles. And the real money printer is autonomy, not selling the hardware. In totally unrelated matters that have nothing to do with advertising, because remember, I don't understand advertising. I don't believe it works. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also. AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. It certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point, and something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy. Wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely it's not that AG1 is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it. You'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, snake oil salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.